They thought I was just an old woman, someone they could manipulate, trick, and throw away when I was no longer useful. But they were about to learn the hard way. I wasn't done yet. Before I tell you how I destroyed the people who betrayed me most, make sure you subscribe. This story is unforgettable. The moment I slid my house key into the lock, I knew something was wrong. It wouldn't turn. I twisted it, pushed, jiggled it. Nothing. Someone had changed it. My heart started pounding so fast I thought I might collapse right there on the porch of the house I'd worked 40 years to buy with my own 2 hands. Then I heard footsteps. The door opened, and there she was, Emily, my daughter-in-law. Except this time, she wasn't wearing that sweet, perfect daughter-in-law smile. She stared at me like I was a stranger interrupting her evening. "Mother-in-law," she said coolly, "we changed everything. This is our house now." For a second, the world tilted. Our house? I bought this house. I paid the taxes. I built every brick of this life. "Emily, this house is in my name," I said, fighting to keep my voice steady. She smirked. "Not anymore. Robert and I have been working on this for months. You can't stay here anymore." Things have changed. Behind her, my son Robert appeared like a shadow, silent, eyes lowered. In that moment, something inside me broke. But instead of tears, a strange calm took over. I smiled. A real, deep smile, the kind that comes when a storm finally clears. They thought I was powerless. They had no idea who I really was. I was 29 when Robert's father left. One December morning, he took everything, even the grocery money, and disappeared. From that day on, it was just me and my boy. I cleaned a bakery at dawn, scrubbed insurance offices during the day, and at night, I cleaned medical clinics and law firms. I slept 3 hours a night for 15 years. My hands were cracked, my back was bent, but my will never faltered. Every dollar went into savings. By the time I was 45, I had enough to buy this house outright. No mortgage. No help, just sweat and determination. I built this home for Robert so that he'd always have a place where he was loved and safe. So that when I was gone, he'd inherit something real. Then Emily came into our lives. The first day Robert brought her home, she was radiant, elegant, warm, with a voice as sweet as honey. She hugged me like she'd known me forever. "Ellie," she said, "Robert talks about you all the time. You're the strongest woman I've ever heard of." I melted. What mother wouldn't? For months, she was the perfect daughter-in-law. She helped in the kitchen, asked for recipes, called me Mom. When they got married, I spent $8,000 from my savings to throw them a beautiful wedding. I even handed them the deed, not to transfer ownership, but as a symbol of security. "So you'll always have a home to start your family," I wrote. The first year living together was peaceful. But snakes don't strike immediately. The changes started small. "This sofa is so old, Ellie," she'd say with a light laugh. "Don't you think it's time to modernize?" To her friends, "We live with my mother-in-law, but it's just temporary. We'll get our own house soon." My favorite vase accidentally broke. My favorite chair was mysteriously ruined. Family photographs vanished, replaced by glossy pictures of her and Robert. Every time I spoke to Robert, he brushed it off. "Mom, she loves you." Give her time. I gave her 3 years. And in those 3 years, she slowly pushed me out of my own home, redecorating, replacing my china, changing my bedroom for her parents' visits. When they toured the house, her mother said, "What a beautiful home you two have." Emily beamed. I stood there, invisible. Then came the phone call that changed everything. My brother Arthur had died. We hadn't spoken in years, stupid family misunderstandings, but he had left everything to me, $340,000 in cash and assets. I was devastated by his death, but grateful for his last act of love. Emily overheard the entire conversation. Moments later, she appeared in the kitchen with a mask of sympathy that couldn't hide the glimmer in her eyes. "I'm so sorry for your loss, Ellie," she said gently. "It's amazing he remembered you." 340,000 is a lot. You must feel safe now, at your age." The way she said "at your age" made my skin crawl. When Robert came home that evening, he hugged me with warmth I hadn't felt in months. For a while, Emily transformed back into the woman I thought she was. Sweet, helpful, loving. She cooked for me, asked about my sleep, smiled over coffee like the old days. I wanted to believe it. I really did. One evening, while cooking stew, I told them my plan. I want to use part of the inheritance to renovate the house, remodel the kitchen, maybe add a deck. This is going to be our family home for generations. Emily's eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. "Oh, Ellie, what a wonderful idea. Robert and I can help you plan everything. And with smart investments, we could even buy another property together. Imagine the passive income. Somewhere between you and together." I felt the shift. She started accompanying me to the bank so I wouldn't get confused. She asked about my accounts, investments, legal documents. She spoke to the manager more than I did. And late one night, I woke up to her whispering on the phone in the kitchen, "No, Mom. I'm telling you, it's almost done. The old woman has fallen for it. She's excited to hand everything to Robert. In 6 months, we'll have the house, the money, everything. And we'll have enough medical evidence to declare her incompetent. Once she's in the nursing home, it's ours." My blood turned to ice. She called me the old woman. She was planning to steal everything. And Robert was helping her. I pressed my back against the hallway wall, trembling as I heard her lay out every detail. Power of attorney, forging my signature, selling my house, putting me in a home. That night, lying in bed, I stared at the ceiling and felt something awaken in me, something I hadn't felt in decades. The woman who had worked 20-hour days to build this life wasn't gone. She'd just been quiet, and now it was her turn to fight. The next morning, I acted like nothing had happened. I served them breakfast, asked about their day, even laughed at Emily's jokes. Inside, I was cold and calculating. She thought I was drifting into confusion. I was actually planning a war. While Emily was at work, I made 3 phone calls to 3 different lawyers. I didn't want anyone to have the full picture of what I was doing. Mr. Hernandez explained the laws on family fraud. Ms. C. Ruiz told me about powers of attorney and how dangerous broad signatures could be. Mr. Pre. Morales advised me on wills and trusts. By evening, I knew exactly what my legal rights were and how to protect them. Then I called Linda, my childhood best friend. We'd grown up together, survived heartbreaks, illnesses, and life's disasters side by side. "Linda," I whispered when she picked up, "I need you. Bring that recorder you use for neighborhood meetings. I'm about to catch snakes in my house." She arrived an hour later, eyes wide as I told her what I'd overheard. Her hands shook. "Ellie, those monsters. We're not going to cry," I said firmly. "We're going to collect evidence." Over the next few days, we placed small recording devices in the kitchen, living room, and on the landline. She taught me to record on my cell phone without being noticed. And meanwhile, I began to act. I started pretending to be forgetful. "Emily, what day is it again?" I'd ask minutes after she told me. "Oh, Ellie," she'd reply with fake concern, "you just asked me that." "Are you feeling okay?" "I don't know," I'd answer softly, lowering my eyes. "Lately, my memory isn't what it used to be." She ate it up. At night, she'd whisper to Robert, "Did you see how confused she was today? We need to get her checked out." It's the perfect time to document this. Perfect for her, maybe. For me, it was bait. I let 2 weeks pass like that, gathering recordings of them discussing my episodes, strategizing about lawyers, and whispering about our future house. I even heard her say, "Robert trusts me more than he trusts his own mother. When the time comes, he'll sign whatever I tell him to." She wasn't wrong. Then I made my move. Over breakfast, with my hands trembling just enough to look convincing, I sighed. "I've been thinking a lot," I said, "about the house, the inheritance, my future. Maybe you're right. I'm too old to handle so many responsibilities. Robert froze mid-bite. Emily leaned forward like a wolf scenting blood. I think I need a break, I continued. I want to visit my cousin Linda in Florida for 2 weeks. When I come back, we'll do all the paperwork you think is best. Emily's eyes gleamed. That's a wonderful idea, Ellie. We'll take care of everything while you're gone. Don't worry about a thing. That night, as she helped me pack, I asked casually, Honey, when I return, do you think we can sort out the house papers? Of course, she said smoothly. My cousin, the lawyer, can come here. We just need your ID, the original deed, and a few signatures. And we'll set up that joint bank account Robert talked about. It'll make things easier for all of us. Perfect, I said, forcing a warm smile while rage burned beneath it. The next morning, I hugged them both at the door. Take good care of the house, I said, wiping real tears. But they weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of fury. The taxi pulled away, but instead of going to the airport, I had the driver take me to a modest downtown hotel. I checked in under my maiden name. That same afternoon, Linda introduced me to Sergio Mendoza, a retired police investigator who specialized in family fraud. I want everything recorded, I told him. Every word. Every action. Legally, cleanly, completely. With your written authorization, he said, I can install cameras inside your home. You're the legal owner. You have the right. 3 days later, Sergio had captured gold. Day 1, Robert and Emily began moving my personal belongings to the garage. Day 2, they brought boxes, labeling my belongings as junk and packing everything I loved. Day 3, Emily called her cousin. Bring the documents tomorrow, power of attorney, house transfer, bank papers. I've got samples of her handwriting. Your secretary can forge the signature, just like last time. Last time? My stomach turned. She even bragged about putting sleeping pills in my coffee before I left to keep me groggy and confused for days. By day 4, they were showing my house to a real estate agent. In this market, we can list for $520,000 and sell fast, the agent said. Perfect, Emily replied. My mother-in-law's developing dementia. We need to liquidate before she gets worse. Power of attorney will be ready this week. They were speaking about me as if I were already gone. By day 5, I watched Sergio's footage of Robert tossing decades of family photos into a trash bag. Emily didn't even glance at them. Throw it all out, she said. It's just old junk. My heart clenched, but it didn't break this time. It hardened. I spent the rest of those 2 weeks meeting with my lawyer, Mr. Hernandez, finalizing every legal document to protect my assets. We set up a trust in my name, froze my bank accounts temporarily, and prepared a case. By the time I returned home on the 25th, I was armed with something far more powerful than rage, evidence. When the taxi stopped in front of my house, I saw it immediately. The lock had been changed. This time, I didn't panic. I smiled. Everything was going exactly according to plan. I knocked. Emily opened the door with that smug, rehearsed expression. Oh, Ellie, she said, pretending to be sweet. We weren't expecting you so soon. You can't stay here anymore. Things have changed. Oh, things have changed, I agreed softly, activating the recorder on my phone in my pocket. Call Robert. I'd like to talk to both of you. Outside, in the yard. She frowned but obeyed. Robert emerged moments later, guilty eyes refusing to meet mine. Sit down, I told them, gesturing to the patio chairs. My voice was calm, almost gentle. It's time you both learn who I really am, Emily scoffed. Ellie, stop being dramatic. You're old, you're confused, and you need help making rational decisions. I took a slow breath. Then I pressed play. Her own voice echoed through the yard, crystal clear. Relax, Mom. I've almost got the old woman to sign the house over to Robert. In less than a year, we'll have everything, and we can send her to a nursing home. Robert's head snapped toward her. I played the second recording, the one where she explained forging my signature and drugging me. Emily went pale. Robert's jaw dropped. Where did you get that? She whispered. I never went to Florida, I said evenly. I stayed here. Hired the best investigator in the city, documented every single betrayal. I pulled out the USB drive. 100 hours of audio and video. You selling my furniture. You forging documents. You planning to steal my house. Robert stood abruptly, face drained of color. Mom, I didn't know, not everything, You signed papers to sell my house, Robert, I snapped. You threw away our family photographs. You betrayed me for money. Emily tried to recover. You're misinterpreting everything. We were just helping you make smart decisions. Helping me? I roared. You drugged me. You plotted to lock me away. Then I made the call I'd been waiting to make. Mr. Hernandez, I said into the phone, loud enough for them to hear. This is Ellie. I have everything. It's time to press charges. The silence that followed my words was thick, almost electric. Emily stared at me like a cornered animal. Robert sat frozen, pale, as if someone had drained the blood from his face. What charges are you talking about? Emily stammered, but the bravado that usually coated her voice had cracked. Family fraud, I replied, my voice cold and precise. Forgery, conspiracy to commit fraud, attempted dispossession of property, elder abuse. Shall I continue? Emily's lips parted, but nothing came out. Robert finally spoke, his voice trembling. Mom, please, we can fix this. I'll give everything back. I didn't mean. Give back what, Robert? I cut him off sharply. The furniture you sold behind my back? The family photographs you threw in the trash? The house you tried to steal? 40 years of my life? For a brief second, pain flickered in his eyes. The boy I had raised, the one who used to run into my arms after school, was still in there somewhere. But then I remembered his voice in that recording. You're right. Let's do it fast before she changes her mind. And that small flicker turned to ash. At that exact moment, the gate opened. Linda, my lawyer, Mr. Hernandez, and 2 uniformed police officers stepped into the yard. We planned it down to the minute. Misses the minute. Parker, Mr. Hernandez greeted me, opening his briefcase. Are these the individuals named in your complaint? Yes, I said steadily. Robert Parker, my son, and Emily Parker, my daughter-in-law. Emily sprang up. This is insane. We didn't sign anything. We were just trying to help her. One of the officers held up the USB drive I had handed them earlier. Mom, we have over 100 hours of video and audio evidence of you planning and committing multiple crimes, including your voice discussing forged signatures and power of attorney fraud. The color drained completely from her face. Robert Parker and Emily Parker, the officer announced, you are under arrest for family fraud, document forgery, conspiracy to commit dispossession of property, and attempted elder abuse. You have the right to remain silent. The moment those words were read, the illusion shattered. Emily screamed, not words, but a guttural, panicked sound that came from somewhere deep in her chest. This isn't over. My family has lawyers. You'll regret this, Ellie. I walked up to her as they handcuffed her. I looked her dead in the eyes and smiled, the same cold smile she'd given me the day she changed the locks. Emily, I said quietly, your family doesn't have enough connections to beat a woman who spent 40 years cleaning offices for this city's most powerful lawyers. I know people you don't even know exist. Robert didn't fight. He just sat back down in the chair, head in his hands, whispering, Mom, I'm sorry. I don't know when I lost my way. I love you. I stepped closer, looked him in the eye, and spoke calmly. Robert, for 72 years, I was your mother. I sacrificed everything so you could have a future. But unconditional love doesn't mean unconditional betrayal. As of today, I'm not your victim anymore. I'm just Eleanor Parker, the woman who finally remembered who she is. They led them both away. 2 patrol cars drove down the street. Neighbors peeked from their windows. I didn't care. For the first time in years, I wasn't afraid. I stood there on the front lawn of my house, feeling the weight of betrayal finally lift. The legal process was swift. With the evidence Sergio had gathered, Mr. Hernandez built an airtight case. The forged documents, the appraisals, the recordings, the plan to declare me mentally incompetent. It was all there. Robert accepted a plea deal. He was sentenced to 18 years in prison. Emily, as the mastermind, received 22 years. Their bank accounts were frozen. The furniture and valuables they'd sold were recovered. The house was legally secured under my new trust, making it untouchable. The court awarded me an additional $150,000 in damages for emotional and financial harm. Combined with my brother's inheritance, I had more than enough to rebuild. I decided not to keep the house. Too many ghosts lingered in those walls. Instead, I sold it, bought a beautiful smaller home in a quiet neighborhood, and convinced Linda to move next door. We planted a shared garden between our yards. For the first time in decades, I woke up to peace. Every night before bed, I look at a single photograph I rescued from the trash. Robert, at age 5, dressed as a superhero, grinning up at me with absolute trust. I talk to that little boy sometimes. "You didn't know what you grow into," I tell him softly. "Your mother did what she had to do, not for revenge, but for justice. Not from hate, but from self-respect. And that's the truth. This wasn't about destroying them. It was about reclaiming myself. My dignity, my legacy." They underestimated a 72-year-old woman. They forgot I'd built my life brick by brick through storms they couldn't even imagine. And when the time came, I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I documented. I planned. And I burned their entire scheme to the ground, legally and perfectly. Because sometimes revenge isn't loud. It's smart. It's patient. And it lands with the sound of handcuffs clicking shut. If this story left you stunned, hit subscribe for more unbelievable real-life revenge stories. Because sometimes the quietest people carry the sharpest